Hello everybody, this is ZigZagZog coming to you from somewhere in this world. And we're back to continue our playthrough of Total War Attila, featuring the wonderful Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD mod. And something that's taken a while, but it's happened. We now control North Africa, which means, finally, it seems like it's been a while, we get to turn our focus and turn our attention now towards the Iberian Peninsula and start taking the steps necessary to make those battles happen. We'll take a few overview looks about how we want to proceed in the Iberian Peninsula. We'll pick up and cover a few loose details so we can get our armies on the move and not have to stay in Marrakesh, not have to stay in Biskra, and get on the move as soon as possible. Our first target more than likely will be the Kingdom of Portugal, being as they have absolutely no defensive allies, no military allies, so they're kind of on their own. However, militarily, when you kind of look at them, they're in decent shape. They don't have a super weak kingdom over there, but they're ranked power strength 16, which is, you know, not hideous. It's the upper tier middle of the pack as far as strength goes, so we will have our hands full with them. The other thing, speaking of which, once we take out Portugal, see how positive I'm thinking, we will then have the rest of the Iberian Peninsula to move against, provided they don't come to the support of Portugal. That could change the whole thing. But if we end up taking out Portugal and then have to go against the remainder of the Iberian Peninsula here, the plan would then be to declare war up here on the Kingdom of Navarre. They only have any defensive or military allies as far as the two other Iberian Peninsula powers, the Crown of Aragon and the Kingdom of Castile. The reason I want to do it that way is if I attack Kingdom of Castile or the Crown of Aragon, they all have allies off on the continent and around the globe a little bit more, and we risk bringing other situations into the battle with us. So the safest way to proceed seems to be Kingdom of Portugal, followed by Kingdom of Navarre, and hopefully deal with it that way without getting too many other nations involved. Now, obviously, by the time we get around to all those separate moves, things can change, but no, that's what we're keeping our eyes on. And the King's Fist, we noticed at the end of last episode, they have the ability to upgrade armor. We don't have a lot of funds left, but while we're sitting here, I will upgrade the armor. I think I kind of made some weird comment like I don't know why or how. Oh, well, right down here, there's a large workshop. I don't remember if I had figured that out or found that last time. I just remember at first being confused as to why we had the ability to upgrade our armor. Well, that's why. So let's spend a little bit of the funds we have. I guess we'll start with our strength, and that is the cavalry, and get their armor and weapons upgraded first. Not hideous cost, at least for the general, so let's get our first step there. Cost of 100, so we'll be able to upgrade the most important parts of our army right off the bat. How about we put it that way? Our heaviest of infantry and whatnot. Next turn we'll get through and finish up with anyone else that we're able. Longbowmen and billmen. And there we go. We have that upgraded as far as we can so far. Something I think we got to look at doing, and that is maybe to speed up our exit out of North Africa to be able to move up towards the Iberian Peninsula. And that is see about governorships. We have a couple governorships available potentially. Yep, we only have 8 out of 10 right now, so I'm thinking it might not be in our best, it might not be a bad idea, I should say. It might be in our best interest and not a bad idea to get a governor down in Marrakesh and Biskra as soon as possible. Looking at potential governors, I was coming down here at looking at David. I think he'd be a wonderful choice for Marrakesh to start out. And when Paul is no longer a general. He's just a temp general for while our king is convalescing. I would like to then put him in Biskra once he becomes available. They're both family members, both have good loyalty, and that's how I'd like to use them. Given their traits, they both have little perks to help with public order in their base character. So that's what we're going to do. So let's just get started with David right off the bat and get him down to Marrakesh. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to take a look. I don't know the exact... Oh, it's Atlas. Fortunately, we have a little hover bar that popped up, so that's Marrakesh. That is the province name of Atlas for Marrakesh. So that's where we're going to send David. And we're going to probably just go down here in Marrakesh and put the edict to public order right off the bat to try and help us out. And something I can't remember, did I highlight this last time to show everybody? We have all of a sudden a bunch of different provinces that normally had been just fine as far as public order. And they're in no way a concern yet, but I do need to find a way to address this downward trend. At first, one thing I took a look at was war weariness was providing -1 influence, but there's something looking around that's providing quite a bit more. And if we go into our summary page for our faction, you'll notice that our Imperium apparently has just, with the taking of Marrakesh, has moved up to the inspiring level, up from where it used to be in impressive. And the public order differences from impressive to inspiring is a difference of 4. So we've just lost across the board in every province 4 public order by growing so inspiring to everybody. So that is our challenge to work on and overcome now. So we're going to bit by bit start taking a look at those provinces that are dipping back into the red, so we don't deteriorate too fast and too completely. All right, but anyway, with those notes in hand, I think we're just going to go ahead and move on to the next turn. I'm assuming Portugal will then move away from us and move back to their home country. We'll keep an eye on which way they move. One thing I do, and this is the last point, I almost forgot one point that I noticed, and that is, I think way back in the beginning of our playthrough, back before I really had totally targeted the Iberian Peninsula, I think it's been that long. We happen to have a non-aggression pact, or maybe we started with one with them. I don't recall. We've been at this playthrough that long. But we do have a non-aggression pact right now with the Kingdom of Portugal, and I think we need to cancel that now, even though we aren't going to...
Salutations and the good wishes of our people to you and yours.
Yeah, even though we aren't...
Would you speak?
I always cut these guys off, don't I? Even though now we aren't going to attack like this turn, it's not bad for our reputation to maybe do this ahead of time and cancel the treaty ahead of time. I'm going to hang on to the trade treaty just a little bit longer. And we will end our non-aggression pact with Portugal.
So be it.
And I have a feeling it does not make them happy. I'm going to assume, yeah, our attitudes are deteriorating. We've broken a treaty, cultural aversion. We are a great power, so we actually have a positive influence, or they approve of that. They like great powers and strong empires. But I knew that broken treaty would hurt us, but who cares? We'll be at war eventually. There you go. So now, I think that's the last detail. We're going to move on to the next turn. We shall see you on the other side. And by the way, we spotted here. I keep thinking of something, don't I? There's the hidden army that disappeared off into the desert. They're camped on our lands, the Alamad Caliphate. I'm not really going to stress over them too much because I did notice that Tripoli is under siege right now, which is their final home area that they have. Whoops, I went right past Tripoli. No, I didn't go far enough to Tripoli. Right here. So Tripoli is under siege right now, so they may end up being a non-factor soon anyway. So all this, before I think of anything else, I'm hitting the button. We'll see you on the other side.
An attack would be prudent. What say your generals? Are they courageous? Are they eager?
I don't think the Republic of Pisa, Leopoldo, has been paying attention. We just made peace with the Alamad Caliphate. We are not going right back to war. And if you're the ones that have them sieged, please hurry it up and get rid of them. All right, looks like we have another faction that has bitten the dust here. And we have another child. Life is indiscriminate in its cruelty. Elizabeth, age 7. And we have an illegitimate birth. Father David. So one of our newest sons down there is... we're going to have to see how soon we can get some of these guys married. So we don't go through another streak and another run of illegitimate children here. All right, belief in the Catholic faith is spreading to neighboring lands. People are converting in their droves. So what does this say? Oh, so this is just for 3 turns. We gain extra Catholic Christianity influence. I assume that's in wherever Al-Madaya is. Surpluses continue. And raiding in Biskra is what they're telling me. So we may have some unrest over there that we're going to have to deal with yet again. The Upstalboom League has done some trespassing near Bern. Not too concerned about that one. We demolished our small mosque, and we demolished the Muqtaz estates. I think both probably in Marrakesh. Yes. So we'll see when we have a chance. We'll go over there, see about what to rebuild. We're back up income-wise to 8,889. And we may have had somebody else come to age if we got some new traits. Let's find out. Eric, I think it is our newest child of the family to come of age. He has zeal and hostile agent success chance, respectful, which helps with religious influence, and respectful. Oh, that's Adam. So that's someone else who gained a trait. Richard is ready to return to duty. So he's ready to return. We'll see if we can get that done over here in his main army, just so we can free up his temporary replacement.
At your command.
That's Paul. Let's see if we can take Paul out then at this point. Here we go. So here's the page I needed for Paul. We're going to kick Paul out, bring the king back. That is, if he's available. There he is, King Richard.
Ready for orders.
And Paul is probably going to have to travel for 1 turn, is my best guess. And we have more than one Paul, so just so you know, yes, it's this Paul down here. And this David, who we just gave the governorship, is the one that just had one of our illegitimate children here. And that is our newest Eric right here that just came of age. So we have several that we need to find a way to get married. We do have the ability to look for a wife for David, so let's see if we can hustle that up and make it happen as he takes over his governorship down in Marrakesh. And as far as households that we've gained Learned Tutor, we've gained some research rate, and this is apparently we've had a daughter that's gained these household members. Just what it's looking like. Or maybe there's some of our wives, or else we have another daughter named Philippa too. I can't keep track of all the names, especially the repeat names. Okay, we finished another research, the composite lathes, on our way to getting up to our next tier of units. And there we go. One thing we want to look at is some of our minor characters. I am still very much interested, even though we're not immediately at war. I want to keep our characters moving back in this direction. We have quite the expanse to have to cross anymore, so I guess we'll keep kind of towards the land over on this side, getting over to Syracuse and traverse the waters in that direction.
On the move. Can I aid you further?
And we have Henry down here coming or working, getting this guy down. Yeah, more towards our armies down here to protect at least our two lead, or our two most important armies. We'll start embedding our assassins within them.
How can I assist you?
And this is our spy, which we don't need down in the desert anymore. We know where the enemy is these days. Let's get him moving back to the Iberian Peninsula. We'll initially want to be scouting out, in particular,
Sharpen my knives.
Portugal and any of their holdings.
At your service. I go. I am done for now.
Okay, and we did notice the bulk of the Portuguese armies taking off. This one I don't think moved, but the one army that had been down is back up in Portugal. This one had been on land, and it's out to sea, so I'm assuming it's going to move off soon also. And while we're here, we're going to spend to upgrade armor while we can. In fact, any other armies will try to rotate through Marrakesh just so we can work on an armor upgrade program here. Now it looks like this army is completely upgraded at this point. Let's take a quick look at the territory itself so we can start working on those buildings that'll help us out as far as getting things back under control here. And there's a number of these that we're going to have to convert to our own kinds of buildings. The nobles can help with public order, even though it usually requires some, I don't know, it helps our food but lowers some income. I'm fine with dealing with that. The mosque, we probably got to, the mosque will destroy at this point just so we can convert it with a Christian oriented religious building. The estates we actually can convert right now if we feel the need, and I think I'm just going to go ahead because it will help our public order by getting that converted. So we'll stick with the noble domain, which is the comparable position, or our comparable version of this building. And we might, if we're lucky, be able to squeeze in something else here. I'm going to keep the workshop just because it's nice to have one down on this end of the world, this end of the globe, this end of the map. We're going to see how much it costs to convert there. 3,819. I guess I got to repair it first. So we shall repair. And we'll have to upgrade or switch it over next time. The barracks can also help, and I may temporarily convert that if I have the funds. Yeah, we'll just use the militia quarters just to help with the public order that it brings. So that's what we'll convert it to. I'm just looking to get the public order under control as fast as possible, and already it's improved. Even though it's -17, that's a big. I think that's an improvement that little by little, some of these conversions will help us with. Time to keep our eyes on Biskra too. I believe we have some revolting going on over here. Let's take a look at the buildings that exist at the moment. Yeah, we got those well underway and happening. So the biggest thing is to get out here and battle with our revolting enemies or our revolting foes out here. The Alamad Caliphate is moving. Oh, there's a lot of Alamad Caliphate armies out here. So they're much stronger than I realized. We'll wonder if they're going to declare war on us at all. But at the meantime, we're going to work on these rebels over here. And they're close enough where I can move out, battle with them, and then come back. If they retreat, we may just not follow them at this moment.
To victory!
Yeah, that's what happened last time, is they retreated. We fell for it. We ran into them, and they were able to loop all the way around and take their town back. I do have this army over here to protect our interests in Algiers while we have these revolters out here. So that's kind of how we'll hold the position at the moment. All right, we're going to move on to the next turn at this point. I think we've done and accomplished everything we needed to on this particular turn. We'll see you on the other side. All right, and our turn completed with no negotiations popping up. We did lose somebody in Lyon, and there's a very good chance that could have been our governor. We'll have to take a look and see what the situation looks like in Lyon. And we have found a potential worthy bride, and I think this bride looks wonderfully worthy. We're gonna let her, or we're gonna take her hand. So let's hope that ends his philandering ways and keeps everything from now on legitimate. So we have continued population surpluses, some wars off in the distance. We have raiding in Algiers. We'll see if we can move an army against the revolting group out there before they gain any strength. We did lose some households with that death. So yeah, we had a household cat over there for sanitation, which will hurt. And army integrity we lost. Yeah, we lost a lot over there. Wow. So we'll take a look. I don't know why. Sanitation and integrity. I don't know if he was just a governor. I don't know if he was just a governor, why he would have had a cook for integrity, but he did. It may have been one that we just gained a household and automatically went to him because we had the opening and I didn't catch it. That's more than likely probably what the case was. So I'm going to get up here real quick, look at Lyon, and see what this situation down here looks like. We are -1. If we go in here and take a look, there is no governor right now, so that is exactly what has happened. Fortunately, only being -1 without a governor is not something that should have to concern us too much. We have a physician, but that's okay. So we do have the ability on some undeveloped land. What we can do is just a minor public order kind of building. We're going to have to start looking at that here and there where we have the slight dips in public order, the few provinces where they exist. Of course, the first few I'm checking don't have any provinces, so before I spend money up here, up north, where things have, for the most part, been more settled, we're going to take a look back down in North Africa to get things under control there first. We finished construction of the ecclesiastical domain in Biskra. That will start helping. The Gibbet in Biskra. So we got a lot of public order, positive buildings going on. Catholic Church in Biskra. So we got some good things going there. Atlas, we're still demolishing a little bit. And we'll be able to upgrade and switch some things over there. Paul is the one that we want to look at to get down into Biskra as a governor to help our turnaround down there. So let's get that done while I'm thinking about it. And this is the Paul that I was looking at. He has, for governing, he has +2 state religion influence and +1 public order as far as his traits that way. So I'm feeling he'll be a good fit for us in governor. He has open households for us to use, and that's where we're going to send him. So let's find out where on the map. Biskra, I guess that is the name of the territory also, and city and territory are the same. Is that what it is? Yes, it is. So Paul, you're on your way. Do us proud, and we will come down here and switch over to a public order edict initially, just to get this -60 turned around as fast as possible. And we do have an army parked in here. If we were to move the army out, we would still be negative, though. Military presence is adding +21 to our public order, so we're going to have to keep the army there just a tad longer. But having these buildings converted now has made a huge difference for our public order. What we are going to do is we're going to get aggressive with this army, and I'm going to assume this one, the king himself, is going to come out and see if he can't put down the revolt before it grows too strong. We'll see which way they run with our king coming out after them. And they do gain strength the longer they stick around.
Kill them all!
So it's a minor battle, but we are going to fight it out because it's nice to do some open field battles, even though it is vastly in our favor. I do not expect to lose in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. Famous last words. And we want to get the king back in the saddle after his near death at the hands of an assassin. Looks like, what do we have? Arab cavalry. We do have a catapult to worry about, but we do have our own cavalry to be able to ride out and try to counter the catapult, depending on how it's set up. And let's get out there. They do have some Zanata tribesmen, which look like they could be, it's hard to tell exactly from the picture, slinger bowman kind of individuals here. So I think we'll be just fine, obviously. We'll see you down on the battlefield. All right, it's a nice dry day. We got some nice hilly terrain. We'll see where the setup zones are. And we'll probably just stay right where we are. There's really no hill for us to take. We are the attacker. They do have the catapult, so they can pelt us at long range. So it seems incumbent upon us now to be the ones to move forward and deal with it. So we do have a nice contingent of archers as usual. Actually, before we get started, let's switch all the archers over to regular shot. We'll keep the crossbow on his regular heavy shot. We'll try to orient him towards any of their heavier units that we see in the distance. Let's get this battle started. And we're going to bring cavalry out to the wings ahead of the line right now, just to get them positioned in case we need to react fast to something they're doing. now I'm not noticing that the catapult is firing in any way, shape, or form at us. I guess we are not quite within range. And we vastly outnumber them, other than catapult and some of these tribesmen that probably have javelins or whatever the heck they skirmish with. We vastly outnumber them with our archers, so we're gonna get aggressive with our archers, move them up, and as soon as we get them placed, we are then going to run right behind them, our line to hold in front of them, because I have a feeling they will react and then charge towards us. So we got to move forward about yay far to get the archers in range. Let's get that done, and let's get their follow-up ready to protect them once they're in place. Run, boys, run. Get up there fast. Cavalry over here in the wings. We'll get this cavalry moved up on this side, and for some reason I left the crossbowmen in the dust. We got everybody on move but the king. Get these archers moving. Everything is breaking loose now. Let's bring our cavalry down. See if we can set up pike wall in time. We couldn't do anything there, so nothing we could do about that one, that charge. We have the pike wall set. And we did repulse, so it's time to bring in some flanking moves on these guys in the center. And also time to charge in on these catapults. And I think we can move our own forces out of here temporarily.
The enemy refuses to admit defeat. Their unit has rallied.
Let's keep going against his general. Come against the skirmishers.
Their general is dead. A lethal blow.
And this is what happens to rebels. Do not revolt on us. Let's get the cavalry back up in these stubborn little skirmishers over here, and they are down.
A glorious victory will soon be yours.
Just because these are rebels, I'm going to continue off camera to run these guys down just in case they have the ability to stay alive. We want to run them down. So I'll be back once that's done. All right, we ran them down. I don't think we let anybody escape as far as I noticed. So let's end this battle. Yep, 0 remaining. All right, the king has helped restore order down here. We don't have any captives, so I can be the nice guy. Usually when it's revolters, I kill the captives, but there's really, that lowers integrity. We're not doing that. We'll see if we can take any of these non-existent people on and see if we have movement to get back to Algiers. All right. Marrakesh is where we want to look at building now. We're going to see about converting this building real quick. We have the ability on this construction site to do something. Sanitation is not stellar, so we're going to see if we have, let's see, a leprosarium over here that we can build to start working on sanitation down here. And then finally, we're going to see, funds-wise, a little over 4,000. We may not have enough to do any conversion at this point. No, we're going to have to wait till next turn to get that ecclesiastical domain built over here to help with the religious conversion and public order. So Marrakesh almost under control. Looks like we will be dealing with a revolt down here. So before we move this second army, kind of getting positioned as we look north toward the Iberian Peninsula, we'll hang on just to help deal with the revolt. Okay, we do have a rank gain. Let's take a look at Robert and where he's located. And we know about the enemy killed in battle. So it says Robert's in Paris. Let's see if that would happen to be our governor. Yes, it is. Let's go get him promoted. And in Paris, the public order, should always get in the habit of looking first, is in good shape, even with the hits we're taking to public order here and there. So we will focus wherever possible on tax rate in this instance, which we already have. Maximize, of course. Cunning helps nothing. Oh, maintenance cost in the governed province. So we might as well take that cunning to lower maintenance cost and construction costs in case we need to do any other building here in Paris. We'll work on that. We could always work on becoming legendary, but not in this case.
Champion of the Lord.
All right, we'll keep our assassins on the move, getting joined back up with us. We can almost get around Sicily down here. And Henry, we're going to keep you moving south also. Notice my assassins don't have the greatest of movement ranges.
For God's glory.
At your service.
Unlike my spies, which seem to have a much grander, much greater movement range.
Orders. I go. I am a shadow.
Let's head you over towards Lisbon. We'll end up probably taking you north, but let's start out towards Lisbon, see what we're looking at on the way. Lisbon is open. Looks like the first army that's headed back is in Evora, and we have both the other armies are now headed back to Portugal. So we'll see if they spread out to go back to one per city or not, and then we'll start dealing with Portugal here soon. War weariness was at negative, or when I looked at that earlier, that was hitting us, but where? I don't know if there, yeah, war weariness right down here now is back to 0% now that we've ended the war. And so it's no longer an issue. You don't. I imagine the longer I'm not at war, when I go back to war, it may not go up quite as fast. I'm not 100% sure on the way that mechanic works, because it came with a note last time. You've been at war since almost the beginning of your empire. Yada yada yada. So we'll see. We're not going to let war weariness worry us, because it wasn't a big negative hit on our public order anyway, as much as the Imperium is now that we're growing and gaining strength that way. So let's start picking out some individual locations where perhaps we can start building some structures to help overcome some of these negative influences. Lyon, we're going to come down here and look at you first, and let's see what we need to work on here. Public orders -1. We should not be able to. So we're going to build some kind of public order building right here. Let's see. The food is fine at plus 55. It's a bountiful region that we're in. More than likely the wheat field is what we'll upgrade to at some point, but it also hurts our public order to do that, and our food's okay at the moment. So let's just worry about public order, period, to start with. We do not have any kind of church facility in this town, and that's probably the simplest and easiest way to address our public order, so we'll go with the Catholic chapel. And that is it. It uses up most of our funds. Next time we'll also, now that things have settled down, we'll start getting back to
We hunger for battle.
yeah, levying some more troops up here for our general up here, Paul, so he can be the one that I keep stationed down here in Toulouse, just in case something goes wrong and they want to start moving north up into France and that area when we're battling with them. So that's kind of my plan as far as where to position that army. What that will mean is we're probably going to be marching forward on Portugal with 3 armies. I am thinking I'm going to keep one in reserve over here, either Algiers or something like Algiers, Tunis, but I'm thinking Algiers just because it's kind of centralized. I've noticed a lot of vessels from Kingdom of Navarre and others, and just even others that aren't even on the Iberian Peninsula, making treks along here back when the Almohad Caliphate held all these towns. So we are subject to raids from sea, and let's face it, the Iberian Peninsula is not that far away, so I probably will keep one army in reserve. That is why I'm building up and levying this force up north so we can cover the northern border. This will kind of cover our North African front so they don't pillage and raid us totally unopposed down here. Then we'll have 1, 2, and a 3rd army over here once this settles down that will be able to take up and move against Portugal. What we're going to do is, I think everything's under control for this turn. We're going to take one more turn before we call this an episode. We'll see if anything interesting pops up. We'll see you on the other side. All right, a couple turns in a row without any big pop-up messages happening in between. We got a new son, Humphrey and Ella Gerald, and it's legitimate. We're back on the legitimate track again. Eleanor has been born to Robert and Philippa. Andrew to William and Cecilia. The family continues to grow by leaps and bounds. And we had to throw in a little awkwardness here. Henry decided to have another illegitimate child. Is that the same Henry that had one before? Can't quite recall. And public order over in Atlas, where Marrakesh is, we're going to get that revolt soon, probably next turn, that we'll have to quash. And there we go. We got a bunch of population surpluses. Boom-bitty boom, 5 more. We lost an executioner, so that's going to hurt somewhere with public order. But bit by bit, we're working on that. We finished our leprosarium in Atlas, in Marrakesh. And we gained some traits. We may have had somebody else come of age. Guy. That sounds like someone. Guy. There are pleasures of the flesh that only some enjoy. Chance of having children, negative 20%. We have Zeal. And then we have Martin. Also with Zeal. Is this? And then we just got a bunch of others, period, with traits developing. We have a lot of family members either coming of age or getting very close to coming of age. Fond of gambling, so we definitely do not want to make Eric any kind of, unless he already is, any kind of governor. Yeah, he's lovely. Gambling, chance of illegitimate children, so he's a winner. Lowers the influence of state religion. Like I said, a true winner. Low loyalty. And the list goes on for poor Eric. Then we got Adam with good loyalty. Adam, who also is corrupt. So this latest round of coming of age youth isn't the most impressive. All right, what I'm going to do first is head up here and levy before we spend our funds on increasing public order buildings. Here we go in Dijon. Let's go and levy right now. We get dismounted knight. That's a nice pickup. Let's take a look down in Marrakesh now before we spend any more funds. I don't know if I'll have enough money to quite convert. I think I needed over 6,000. Yeah, so next time we should, because if we gain another 5,000 on top of this and not spend, so we probably will not spend so much here. And except for, I will go and see about upgrading the leprosarium to a physician, because we're seeing our sanitation needing some help. And then we'll see if we're able to convert our city next time around. We'll go ahead and keep our assassins on the move. In fact, this is the assassin I want to kind of join up with the king's army over here. So let's just see if we can't get him moving right away over here, just so I don't forget that's who I want there. And then we have another assassin of our own that we are going to embed in an army, and we're going to bring him down this way. Then as far as spies, you're going to kind of keep the southern tip of Portugal under your eyes, and we'll head this last spy up north to make sure we get no surprises on what's happening up north.
On the move.
And there we go. I think we're pretty well set up. We're going to have to take a look at some of these cities that continue to go red little by little. As long as they stay green, you know, we got time to keep working on them. Marrakesh will be under control soon enough, but as you can see, Biskra has finally turned some things around. All right, for the moment, I think we've done what we can accomplish for this episode. We're getting things under control, getting ready for our move against Portugal. We now have a plan of what we want to do and how we want to approach the Iberian Peninsula. If you all have any other tidbits or suggestions or things you might try if you were conducting this battle, you know, hey, feel free to share what you're thinking, what you'd like to see, what you think we should try, whatever that may be. Otherwise, come join me next time and see how we progress with this campaign. This is ZigZagZog signing off from somewhere in this world. I really appreciate your views. Help me out with a thumbs up if you can. And I appreciate so much your views, especially if you're still watching this late in the episode. Thanks so much.